surfear, bloguear, tuerquear. What do these verbs have in common? They all end in EAR, and we'll be talking about them in this Spanish Quickie, where we try to get you in and out with new Spanish vocab in a flash. There are 5 categories of EAR verbs. Let's start with number 1, verbs that come from nouns. Zapatear. You have your zapato, you drop the O, you add EAR, and now you have a new verb. Zapatear in Mexico is the type of almost tap dance type movement that you do when you're dancing a zapateada. Ellos zapatean. That means that they are dancing in this particular way. Number 2, verbs that come from adjectives. Blanquear. That comes from blanco. Now I can't just drop the O and add EAR because then I'd have blancear. That would be the wrong pronunciation. To maintain that hard K sound, we change the C to QU before adding EAR, blanquear. And now our adjective has become a verb, blanquear, which is to whiten. Number 3, verbs that come from other verbs plus an intensifier. Besuquear. It's not the same as besar, which might be just or might be a very romantic long kiss, but besuquear implies that you are kissing or getting kissed over and over again. It can be annoying, it can be great. How do we know this? Well, the uco ending is a regional diminutive. That means it makes something smaller, and it's also pejorative in some cases. So besuquear is including that suffix within the new verb that comes from besar plus uco. Another example I can share with you is picotear. Picotear comes from the verb picar, and we're also thinking of a noun like picote. Pico is bill. Picote would be a big bill. Now this is referring to what a bird has for a mouth. So if we look at pico on a sparrow, it's very small compared to the picote of a kiwi bird. Ote makes something bigger. So picotear, we drop the E from picote, and we have this new verb, which could mean you're poking again and again, just like with besuquear. And it's not as intense in that way every time, because picotear could also be what you do with your food when you are done eating but you're just poking at it, or what maybe little kids do to avoid their chores. They just start poking at the food and they don't look like they have any intention of finishing it. And it would mean the same thing in English or Spanish in that case, where you're poking. You are maybe eating small amounts, little by little, and you're not eating it with gusto. Number 4, verbs that come from English words. I started off the video with surfear, bloguear, tuerquear. I think it's pretty easy to see what English words these Spanish verbs came from. This is the most dynamic of all these verb forms. Whenever we need a new verb to add to Spanish that is coming from a field such as technology, well, we might take the English word and slap EAR to it and come up with a new verb that we can start using right away. Number 5, the other category. Tutear. That is using the form of tu, the informal form of address, with someone. Notice that you have to add an extra T to make this verb sound right. Tutear. Otherwise, it would be tuvear. Okay. And vocear, another example, it comes from voz, another subject pronoun, which is very often used in Central America and much of South America. And to this day, it's still used to address the king in Spain. It varies by region, when you would use it, how you would use it, how you form verbs with it. So it's a whole can of worms, but at least today you've learned how to use EAR to make Spanish verbs.